everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we were talking with Mr. Chayce Beckham. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, how are you?
Pretty good. It's my first time getting out in a bit, so it's nice to get to chat with you and pick your brain a little bit.
Congrats on being a new dad.
Thank you, appreciate that. So we're here today, we're getting ready for your Ottawa show, which is going to be fun. We're here to talk about you, your music, and about what you do in the world. But for those who are new, can you give a little bit of an intro about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Chayce Beckham. I was born in Apple Valley, I was born in Victorville, but I grew up in Apple Valley, California. Got into country music when I was young, came back to it whenever I was in my early 20s, and have been playing it ever since. So yeah, won season 19 of American Idol, moved to Nashville, and have been on a touring and recording career for the last almost 4 years.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. And American Idol, that's got to be fun.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of stress that I never want to go through again.
I can only imagine just watching it from the outside. It looks crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Now, I guess you got into music early, but what was the catalyst that drove you into music?
I don't know. I don't think that there was any specific thing other than, I was just, I guess I had a knack for it when I was really young. It was something that kind of came naturally as far as like playing guitar, and just didn't really exceed at anything else. So, I kind of felt like it was if I had any chance.
That was it, yeah.
At notoriety or, success, that would be it.
Nice. Now, you have a lot of influences. There's a lot of country music names out there that are big, but I'm curious about some out-of-the-box stuff that really helped influence you.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I've listened to everything. So,
yeah.
I grew up on country music, but, my dad, whenever I'd see my dad, he loved, my dad was a big Metallica guy. I loved Van Halen and, loved rock and always listened to rock around my dad. And as I got into high school, hip hop was huge.
Yeah.
And, reggae music was one of my passions, and I still love reggae music. And so there's just a lot of guys too. Like, one of my favorite bands is The Doors. I always cite Jim Morrison as one of my favorites of all time. And
makes sense.
I'm just fascinated by those kind of guys who have that, I guess that aura, that draw power to be able to, kind of put a whole crowd in a trance.
Just stop everyone.
Yeah,
wow.
Like Bob Marley, I think was that way, and there's a few guys who really just made me think that I wanted to do it professionally.
Makes sense. So, yeah. Do you think that Bob Marley biopic was like true to what probably he was?
I don't know. I can't say. It's so hard to say. Yeah, I feel like he's such a significant person and such a specific kind of person that it's hard to imitate that in that sense. You know what I mean?
And it's hard to tell like just what's being stylized for a movie and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it, and I love biopics, so I watch it that about a musician comes out. I watch just about all of them. But sometimes they nail it, sometimes they don't. So
yeah, and especially if you know more about that one, and then you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't really fit. And then it's like, okay, but it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I watched it though. It was all right, but I mean, I think Bob was. There's a lot of things that they won't say in a movie about it. I mean, so it's just, if you're really a fan, I don't think you'll ever get all the things that you want out of a movie.
Yeah, I think that's true with everyone. If you look at like the Elvis biopics, things like that, there's something missing in some spots.
There's a ton of things missing. Yeah. So, but that was still a fantastic movie.
So going forward, what's your music process like when you're putting together stuff nowadays for yourself?
Lately I've just been, kind of going off of just what I've noticed has been working, and just seeing how crowds are reacting to certain songs, and what lyrics are working well, and what melodies and rhythms and stuff. And I've been always a very open writer to where anything kind of goes in a writing room. I don't ever tell people we have to write this kind of a song or we should write this kind of a song. I'm very open to kind of whatever might come across us that day.
Yeah.
So I guess just kind of I've always been, I feel like that, open to anything, any idea, any song, and just trying to stay that way.
Now, do you like when you're starting to write maybe by yourself a bit, or do you like to have that producer in the room with you so you can bounce ideas off right away? Or
one of my favorite ways, I think it's the most efficient way, is if either I can write by myself, or if I get a good start.
Okay.
And then I'll take it in a room, and if they like it, then we'll finish that idea, and usually that makes it the whole process a lot quicker.
Okay, yeah, come in with that piece.
Yeah, come in with the good piece already done.
Yeah.
And I like to do that quite often.
I mean, that makes sense. There's a couple people I've talked to recently where they'd rather have someone in the room right at the start, like a producer.
Right.
So when they're throwing out ideas, they can be like, oh, change that sound, do this, do that.
Yeah,
And I think each person has a bit of a different feel that way.
Yeah, some guys like writing like that. I never really, and I love all my producers out there, but I never really loved the idea of we're going to create a song and a demo in the next 4 hours.
Okay, yeah.
That to me sounds crazy. So
It
it's
does,
like,
actually,
let's
yeah.
write a song and let it breathe, and then, if we want to make a demo for it, we can make a demo for it. But, then you're not just writing a song. You're writing a song, making a demo, and now you're singing vocals on a weekday.
Yeah.
So it's like, it turns into a lot more. So I was never really the biggest fan of doing that. But, I think it's a much more rapid process where you kind of, guys, they want to leave the room with a demo. And I'd much rather leave with just a good song and a iPhone recording of the guitar and the vocal.
Makes sense, yeah. And that gives you time because you're a guy who likes the stories and the lyrics and stuff too. You can tell with your music, so it gives you that time, I think.
And it's very presumptuous because it's like when you go in a recording session, when you actually record a record, all that changes. So all that stuff that you're working on and trying to get a certain, it does give a good blueprint sometimes, but a lot of the times I've gone in and my idea of a song when we got in the recording studio completely changes.
I would imagine so, yeah, because you hear something or someone
Yeah,
suggests
we
something
can
later.
do this, or a new window opens up or a new idea, and you're like, okay, yeah, that actually works way better, and I love that. So I'm never tied to one specific way of doing a song. I kind of think that you should let it breathe all the way until you put it out.
Yeah. So in 2024, you dropped "Bad for Me." How did that one come about? How was the reception for that?
I think it was good.
It seems like it's been going
like
good.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It seems like it went well, and I've been writing songs for years, So when I moved to Nashville, I started writing music immediately in songwriting rooms and by myself, and I had songs from before all that, but when I was still living in California and working blue collar, I had songs that I'd written, in the middle of the night in my bedroom that we put on the record. Okay. So it's really a collection of songs from, like the last 3 years, leading up to its release. And luckily, I had a whole bunch of music, whenever they requested an album. And we were able to kind of sit and go through a ton of music and then listen to some other songs that some other writers in town wrote. And it just kind of all came together. So it's really just a huge mix of songs that I worked on for a pretty big chunk of time.
Nice. Now, how do you think over the years that your music has evolved? If you go back to 23, obviously one of your kind of biggest hits right now, how has things evolved since then?
Well, man, I mean, I think things have changed a lot. Like I made 23 in 2 hours with Ross Copperman in the studio because that's the time that they gave us on American Idol.
Yeah.
So we didn't have time to, send it in for all the extra stuff that I wanted to put on my record. I wanted, steel guitar and fiddles and mandolins and stuff. And I pictured it in my head a lot more sat down than the way that it came out. But Ross is a great producer, and Ross did what Ross did. And I mean, that song was a huge record for me. So, it's just, I think nowadays I have so much more control over my recording sessions, and I can make the music exactly how I want to. So I think just some of the things that you can tell that I love about country music is probably a little more evident now in some of the recordings, like the steel guitars and the fiddles and the harmonies and stuff. It's all stuff that kind of pays homage to the music I love.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did American Idol, like how did it help you going forward with some of the stuff you learned there into what you're doing now?
Well, I mean, you learn a lot on that. You get a vocal coach, 2 of them. You get 2 vocal coaches. Okay. You basically you get free singing lessons.
Which is nice, yeah.
So you're learning a lot. Like I learned a lot about just my voice and the way that I sing that I had no idea about. And but you also learn the 2 sides to show business and television and the music industry, and when they collide, it's sort of a nightmare, because you're doing so many different things, and it's kind of refreshing when you get off the show and you go to Nashville and you're like, oh, I just work in the music industry, thank God, because the TV industry is crazy. Yeah. But you definitely get a taste of both of them, and I think that was great for me going into all the stuff that I did after, and doing interviews and going on tour and meeting radio stations and stuff like that. being on a major television production, and learning how the show works and show business, definitely, I think, gives you a little bit of a leg up whenever you actually start doing it in the real world.
Because then I guess you probably think about, is this going to go here? I have to maybe do something different for here. Things like that. Makes sense. Yeah.
You just learn, like, this is how this is going to go, and I've done this before, and some artists, you get signed to a record label and you don't have any of that experience, and they just you experience it all for the first time in your actual career. So I feel like it helped me out tremendously.
What's the most interesting thing you learned about yourself through that process?
That I was capable of doing stuff like that. I mean, I didn't think I had it in me.
I mean, I guess when you're thrown into that and kind of go, oh shit, like.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't anticipate any of it to happen the way that it happened. I was in hopes that I would make it to the live portion of the TV show where I could sing on live TV, and I was hoping that somebody out there would hear me on TV and be like, "Oh, we got to go sign this kid." And that never happened. So I stayed on long enough to where I won.
So you're like, screw it, I have to win the whole thing now. No one's called me yet.
No one called me. So I didn't anticipate any of it. I had no. Basically, I didn't want to say I didn't have hope, but like it just seemed very unrealistic. You know what I mean? So just going through stuff like that and proving yourself wrong. I mean, that's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel that a bit, like doing this type of stuff. I never expected. Yeah. I was not a guy who would ever sit in front of a camera.
Right.
I'm always behind. Always behind the camera, taking the pictures. Even that, I didn't know I was going to start taking pictures until someone said, "Hey, come shoot my show for me."
Right.
It just worked out that way.
Yeah, and then and then you kind of just let it take you where it takes you. For me, it definitely panned out in a great way.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, we're here today, like with a live show.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Headlining tour.
We've been doing this tour, and I think we're 4 shows in right now. I think. So
I think this is 4 for the Canada.
4 for Canada. We did 1 on the way up. So yeah, it's 5 for me, and it's been awesome, man. Just getting to come out here and see all these people, sing along to not just 23, but a lot of the songs, and just feeling the love and the energy from Canada. It's been great. Yeah,
Canada's country music scene is pretty.
It's awesome.
Pretty interesting for sure.
It's awesome. We'll keep coming back, I think. And when we first came here on tour, we were blown away by the audiences and the crowds. So it's turned into something that we know we're going to go do every year.
Yeah, I mean, we're enjoying it too. So
yeah.
So, with everything in the music industry being crazy as it is, what do you do to keep grounded?
Play golf, go fish, hang out at home with my dog and my fiance.
There you go.
Binge TV shows.
That's when I'm sitting there editing. I have something else going on in the background too, just because it's so monotonous.
We're very, very low key people. We like to just hang out at the house, and our dog is like our child, and that's our life. We love it, and I wish that I was able to spend more time at home doing just that. But just those kinds of things. When I'm on the road, if I can go play golf, or if I can get out and go fish with somebody, or if we can get outdoors, or if me and all the boys can go do something together, then just stuff like that, just to keep our dopamine up, and just
not be stuck in a building.
Not be stuck in a building, or stuck in a hotel room, or stuck in the bus, or whatever. I usually do end up stuck in the bus. I'm like, I'm paying an arm and a leg for this thing. I want to live in it for the next.
That makes sense too, because I'm assuming those things are pretty expensive.
Yeah, so I have to sometimes. Golf is a great way for me to force myself. I love to play golf, and most of my crew loves to play golf. So if I'm near a golf course, I'll usually go and have a few drinks and play some golf.
That's the way to be. I mean, I don't have those opportunities anymore with the kids running around. I have 2 actually. So the new one is 4 months, and the other one's 2. So
awesome.
They're both young.
That's awesome.
Keeps me busy. This is, like I said, my first time out.
Yeah, I hear that. That's like what I want. We're trying to get there too. It's like we have a goal to get married this year, and hopefully have some kids soon and start a family. And I just want to be able to be in the position where I can
just shape someone, teach someone?
Well, yeah, but also be able to, give them the life that I never had, and
Yeah.
The foundation, the home setting that I never had growing up. That's something that I would really enjoy. Just being a good dad. So those kinds of things. That's like people are like, what do you dream about now? And I dream about, everybody wants more gold records and more number ones and more money and more of this. And I'm like, I just hope I can keep doing my career long enough to where, I can retire at 50 and take care of my kids.
Wake up to daddy. Let me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be running around rocking and rolling until I'm 60. So hopefully I get to do this for another 20 years and set my kids up and be able to give them an awesome place to grow up. So that's really like as far as goals and stuff like that. It's just like getting to that point. Where I have a couple boys or something. And
that sounds like a plan. Girls, man, I had a girl first, and it changes things so weirdly.
Yeah.
It's like. Now you instantly start thinking is, oh my God, I have to go buy a gun. Like, oh, my poor daughter, what did I do when I was 16? Like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be rough for any little boy who came across my daughter. I'll tell you that right now.
We
already have guns and we got several of them. So it's like, we're stocked up and I don't know. I have 4 sisters, and I've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
So
I
hope that I have a boy, and I think we've said that if we have a boy, we're just probably gonna call it with him.
Yeah.
And if we have a girl, then we're gonna try again.
Well, and my wife we want one of each, so it was like, let's do that. And I'm like, first one has to be a boy. It has to be a boy. And then she told me,
yeah. We were talking about the other day. I was like, I wouldn't mind being a girl dad. Actually, I think it'd be awesome.
It is fun. There's some cool things, and like you can I've taught her to do some insane stuff already. Yeah. So she's a little monster running around screaming at things. Yeah, it's a great thing for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah, we got engaged in October, and
okay, congrats.
And we'll see what happens in the next year or so.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be fun. And tell you one thing: let her have everything she wants.
Oh yeah.
In the wedding, but
I'll get that one.
Your fiance. Yeah. Well, hey, that too, I suppose. But just get yourself one thing. For myself, I demanded I have to have chicken wings at my wedding.
Oh, we're getting married in Vegas.
Oh, geez, there you
go. Elvis impersonator.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
nice.
So it's going to be very, very
there you
fast
go. Yeah,
and small, and
that's perfect.
We're flying back to Nashville.
Nice.
Yeah, we're basically going to elope.
Yeah, I would have loved to have done that, but her family, she wanted to do some things. I'm like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I got to have chicken wings. That's it.
I love that. We got out of it. I told her, hey, what do you think we just go elope, or we just have a real small wedding with our parents? And
yeah.
She was like, I love that idea, because we've been to so many weddings, and we're like, yeah, let's not do this.
Yeah. Well, I looked at stuff like that, and I was like, I hate this. This is the craziest thing for me. I would not want to be doing that.
Yeah, it was. My sister just got married. It was a beautiful wedding, but even after that, we were like, yeah, no wedding for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I don't like wearing sleeves, so you have to get all dressed up. And I was like, man.
You didn't rip the sleeves off your suit?
I did, actually. At the end, there was no sleeves on that suit. That's
awesome.
Yeah. She didn't like it, but I did it.
That's great.
All right, so back half of the interviews, I have a couple fun questions, and I think they make you think a little bit more. My favorite one to always ask, what's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Oh.
Got to make you think a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I put this 2 ways because some people are really unsure. So maybe something you want to see more in an interview when you're watching something, or something you just want to talk about more.
I don't know. I think sometimes I think sometimes. So I've been asked a few really good ones that have caught me off guard. You know what I mean? But it's few and far between. So I guess maybe for interviewers, if anything, it's like whenever they know a handful of things that not everybody might, kind of like what you were saying, the basic questions that everybody asks.
Yeah.
Whenever someone asks something that's, has to do with you, but it's not one that you might have heard in the last 5 days. You're like, oh, that's a great question. I don't know. It's just, I love hearing stuff that's like a little off the wall.
And I always try to do something above that, because you've probably been asked the same question every other interview, and sometimes it gets a little monotonous and boring. So I try to make things a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I love that. I can't think of anything in particular, but I mean, I think it's just about, it all goes behind the interviewer and being thoughtful and, actually, you could tell sometimes some people don't.
Yeah.
There's no idea who you are.
I've had a couple where I've sat there and it's been like, okay, this is going this way, I suppose. And okay.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's some. I mean, people always tell me like, "So you're going on tour with Luke Bryan?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. That was last year." You know, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It'll crack me up. You know, so I don't know, little things like that.
Yeah.
I guess just knowing.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do a little bit of research.
Yeah,
I mean, I
little-
may
little
not be the best
research.
at it, but I try to do some.
You're nailing it.
I appreciate
think
that.
you're doing
Yeah.
great.
Now, with on the tour and everything, what's your experience been? Like you said, you're really fond of Canada, but has there been any show that's really so far jumped out?
I mean, they've all been great and different in their own ways. You know, all the venues have been unique and different. So I love getting to perform in venues like these, and I think that it's so much more intimate, and you actually get to, you know, feel the energy of a room and the crowd while you're on stage. So everything I feel like has just gone pretty well, and you know, we just did Toronto, and Toronto was great.
Yeah.
And,
And this is a nice spot. It used to be a high school that they've like renovated,
yeah, it's
and
cool.
Live Nation, or I don't know who picked it up, but they put a lot of money into the actual into the venue area.
The venue, yeah, it looks wicked.
Yeah, it's
I love
fun.
it. Yeah, I'm excited. So they've all been great, you know, and just getting to, you know, hopefully come out here and build on all this and make it bigger and bigger, and you know, we'll keep coming back and playing shows up here, and as long as we can, you know. So hopefully, yeah, just make it grow and continue to tend to the audiences up here.
Yeah, we have the two big music festivals coming up this summer too. You'd probably fit really nice in there.
Yeah.
Blues Fest is 10 days, and it's just a mix of everything. So there'll be like
man.
a country night, a rock night, all kinds of fun stuff
That's
like
awesome.
that. Yeah.
I love doing festivals up here. The biggest one I've ever done was up in Cavendish.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we played for like, I don't know, it was like 30,000, 35,000 people up there.
Mhm.
And it was insane. So, you know,
Yeah, Cavendish goes next
a
level.
lot of my, you know, like I played my biggest crowd ever up here, and I played, you know, some of my biggest arena tours up here with Luke Combs. Got, you know, my first #1 up here, and got my first platinum certification up here. So, you know, there's a lot of like really great things that have happened up here that, you know, will always in the back of my mind keep me, you know,
Keep you wanting to come back here.
Exactly.
And we like the sound of that because we, you know, Ottawa specifically misses a lot of stuff. We don't get a lot of stuff. It's a government town, so a lot of things skip from Toronto to Montreal, and we miss everything here. So
yeah, well, I'm glad we could stop there.
Exactly, yeah. And like I said, I got someone in Montreal checking out tomorrow too, so that'll be fun.
That should be good too. Yeah, they're always, you know, these shows up here. Like I said, it's hard to even pick one and say one's better than the other because they're always every crowd is just so big.
Yeah, it's always those ones where you get that standout, just that one memorable moment. Like a fan did something insane, and you're like, I'm gonna remember that for the rest of the show.
Oh, there's this one guy thinking, man, maybe it was in Indiana and Shipshewana because we played in Shipshewana right before we came up, but it might have been in London. But there was one after every song he would scream, "Do it again!"
It's like, all right, buddy.
We all got off stage. We were like, "Do it again!" Like for like the next 2 days. That's all we could say.
Yeah.
We were like, that guy was awesome.
Yeah, those are fun. It's just you're gonna remember that just because it was random and weird. And...
Yeah, every song he'd be like, "Come on, man, do it again!"
Nice. So here's another one for you to think about. If you're introducing your music to someone for the first time, brand new fan, never heard anything before, what's the first song that speaks the most about who you are that they should listen to?
Well, I mean, I feel like 23 definitely does that, you know, and it's a very cliche answer because it's like, you know, the biggest one out of all my songs, but
it's got the most story behind it.
It's got the most. Well, it's about my life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an autobiographical song that I wrote whenever I was going through it, you know, and I think that that's a great way to get introduced to what I'm talking about in every other song. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a great one. If I Had a Week was another one of my favorites. That's about, I talk about, you know, people in my life, you know, and that's a lot of people, family members, they get a kick sometimes when I release a song because they're like, is that me? And I'm like, yeah, that's you. And they're like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Like my Uncle Joe, he's in that song, and it's his favorite song, you know, because I talk about going fishing with my Uncle Joe in Oklahoma, and he gets such a kick out of that. So, you know, those kinds of songs, I feel like 23, you know, all real people in the songs. And so I think that gives you a great opening to it. And, you know, a lot of the rest of the music is very much that way. It's about, you know, the same girl that I've been with for 11 years, every song, you know, the time that we broke up and worked together for a little while. And, you know, every time I sing about, you know, my mom, or my mom, if you listen to the song Mama, you know, that's a song about my life and my relationship with my mom, and you know, the hell that I put her through. So I think that 23 is definitely a great start to all those, and it definitely opens the door for it.
Nice. So. Now, do you have trouble balancing how much of yourself you put into your music to try to keep it, you know, keep a little bit to yourself so you're not too out there?
No, I don't think. I think when you, I don't know. I don't think. I think for me, making music, it kind of has to be that way in a sense.
Okay.
Whether it's a happy song or a sad song. Some of the best songs come from real stories.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It.
Real things that happen, and you can make stuff up all day long. You know what I mean. And your imagination can run wild making up stories. You know.
Oh yeah.
Talking about something that actually happened to you, I think that, and being honest about some of that stuff, I think that connects you with your listener a lot more. You know, and it helps them a lot. In my opinion, it helps them a lot more because it helped me whenever I would listen to guys like Tyler Childers and George Jones and Vern Gosdin, and you know, when I was listening to the early Zach Bryan stuff, you know, all those guys are so honest, and I think people don't even realize what they're actually saying half the time. You know, like when it gets to the point where it's a big, hyped up,
like a festival where you're not listening to the words.
Yeah, or the song becomes so viral, but people they're not really even understanding what this guy's saying. You know, and I think that for the listener who's actually sitting at home listening, and the music is making them feel better, that kind of music helps people so much.
Yeah.
And that's always been my goal, is to make music like that. And if I can get one song out there, you know, or one lyric that might help someone out of a hole, or might help them feel like they're not alone. Yeah. You know, then that's always been, I've always said that's my mission in music.
That's what you want people to take away
exactly.
from yourself.
Yeah. I want them to take away a feeling of companionship and a feeling of not, you know, of relieving loneliness, you know. So.
I mean, that's, everyone needs a little bit of that somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's what, it just helped me so much, man. You know, whenever I went through a lot of hard times, and you know, did a lot of stupid stuff, and put myself in a lot of really bad positions.
Yeah, I've been there.
You know, I think that whenever I was going through that, I didn't feel like I had anybody I related to until I turned on some of those songs. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'm not this enormous piece of crap. And maybe there are other people who are like me, who've, you know, done a little bit better and made better choices and done different things. And so, yeah, it's just, for me, that vulnerability in lyricism and songwriting, I think, is something that isn't as common these days. Yeah. And I think whenever you hear some of these guys singing, you can tell that they're coming from a real place. And I would say guys like Luke Combs, you know, and ladies like Lainey Wilson, and you know that they're singing from a real place, which makes all that so much better.
Yeah, those are nice. And I'll tell you this about, we'll bring it back to the kids thing a bit. Wait until you have a kid, your first time, you listen to some of these songs and the lyrics.
Oh yeah. That's
going to hit you in a whole different way. I remember holding my daughter early on, and I'm sitting there just rocking her to sleep and just crying because I'm listening to a song. Going like, oh, what the hell? Why is this doing this to me? And it could be like something you completely thought something different of, and then it's just like, oh my God, this means so much more.
So much more.
Yeah, it's crazy that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the coolest thing about country music, is that's where it comes from, and that's what it's based off of, is the stories of, you know, of everybody and everyday people, and the things that we go through, and the experiences that we all face as human beings. Yeah,
exactly. Now, what motivates you to kind of keep pushing through music now? You've been doing this for a fair bit. Is there, you said you want to have like retire at a certain point?
Yeah. I would love to retire at 50. I always told, when I used to work blue collar, I used to joke it with everybody and say, you know, I was like, I'm going to get one day my band's going to take off and I'm going to retire at 45.
Oh, there you go.
It was, you know, all the guys, you work till you're 65, you know, 70 years old. And we're all like, man, we got a long way to go before
I said the same thing at 18. I got a job at like the post office, the best paying job ever. And I'm like, man, I'm going to be able to retire at 50. This is amazing.
Yeah. So I tell everybody, man, I'm going to retire at 40. They'd all laugh at me. And then, you know, the whole idol thing happened. And I was like, well, who's laughing now? I'm going to retire.
It's there, yeah.
But, you know, there's so much work you got to do. There's so many things that you have to do to be able to do something like that. And I'll probably be playing for the rest of my life, you know, realistically.
Love, though,
but
so
I mean, touring hardcore and being on the road all the time and doing everything, you know, I probably want to quit doing it as much whenever I'm in my early 50s. You know, I want to enjoy my life. So yeah, just what keeps me pushing is knowing that I can still get out there and sell a ticket, and that there's anybody who wants to come and see it, and as long as people want to come out and see us, then we'll come out and play, and so and I think it's just the challenge too of trying to beat yourself of what you've already accomplished, and trying to do better,
one up yourself.
Yeah, and unfortunately for me, I set myself a really hard to beat accomplishment right out the gate. And I'm constantly trying to call, and I'm very confident that I'll pass that again, and that I hope to do it a few more times. So it's just those small mental goals that I have, milestones of I hope that I can still be doing this in 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's what I said 4 years ago, is that I hope in 5 years I'm still doing this. And as long as I'm still doing this and making music, then at that point, I just will hope from 5 years from that, from then that I will still be doing it. Yeah. So it's, I'm coming up on my first 5, and like I think McConaughey said something like that, where he says, "My hero is me 10 years from now."
Yeah.
And I will never be that person, because when I get there, my hero will be
still
the guy 10 years ahead. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of just have that thought process of, if I can still be playing music in the next 5 years, then I must be doing something right. So I'm glad that I get to keep doing it.
For sure. Now here's one to throw you off right before we finish. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
No, why not?
It's its own thing.
It is its own thing, but if you classify looking at everything,
a sandwich to me is two open pieces of bread that you would like that.
Yeah.
If you were to say a hot dog is a sandwich, it'd be more of a sub or like a hoagie, right?
But they call the Subway sandwich sometimes.
Exactly. I don't know.
So see, I just threw you off right there.
I don't know. But the Subway they're tied up.
It is. It's open up. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not a sandwich to me.
It makes sense. It's
I feel like the Subway sandwich is a sub, though, right?
See, that's its own thing too. It's its own entity. Yeah, it's a great debate question.
Yeah, I think a hot dog is its own classification.
Yeah.
Like, what is a corn dog?
Yeah, I guess what is a corn dog?
What food group do you put that in?
Because it doesn't even have a bun.
Well, it kind of does.
I suppose, yeah. See, now you're making me. See, I didn't even think about something like that, but
that's a good one.
That is a good one, yeah. See, I might have to add that in. All right, man. One more before we finish.
Okay.
And it's probably the most important question: is are you happy?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes I get tired.
I get tired all the time.
Everybody does, man. But yeah, I love getting to do what I get to do. It's the biggest blessing in the world. I knew I couldn't do what I was doing for that much longer, and that was going to be hard, having to wake up and bust my back for the next 40 years. So, yeah, I'm blessed. I'm very grateful for every opportunity that I get. That's in music and country music, and just thankful to have gotten a second opportunity, at life and at getting my name and my music out there, because. Man, I tried very hard and failed miserably for a long time, and I firmly believe God gave me a second chance and put me back out, on the road, and has been letting me do my thing. And so I don't take that for granted. And I'm grateful, happy, and just looking forward to hopefully a long career in this.
And they always say you stop failing when you win, really. So
yeah,
you're getting there.
I hope that one of these days, I'll look back on a long and lengthy career and be able to say, I did it, and show my kids some cool stuff.
Show your kids this interview later.
Yeah.
Like, this is when I was younger doing this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just be able to spend time with my family for the back half of my life.
No, that sounds like the best one. Any final words of wisdom you want to leave to people?
Oh no, nothing from me. Just
no wisdom?
No wisdom in this whole head. If you love something, do it and pour your heart and soul into it, and you just never know where it's going to take you. And I'm a firm believer that if you consistently stick at something, no matter how many times you fail, that if you love it and you stay at it, that something will come up.
100%.
Unless if you're horrible. If you're not good, then someone has to tell you.
Well, something's still going to come up. It just might not be good. It just
It might be laughing at you and not with you. You know, so
I've experienced a few artists
so
like that.
yeah, another, I guess, have a good circle of people who will be honest with you and tell you what you're good and not good at. And because I didn't believe in myself with music, and it took the people around me to put that a little bit of belief in me to go do the things that I did, and like getting on an American Idol audition in front of 3, bona fide celebrities. So.
And you're like audition for that. I was watching it earlier. Just the look on their faces, they're like, "Damn, okay." Like,
yeah, I was scared out of my mind.
I can imagine.
It was like terrifying.
Yeah,
and
walking up in front of them.
I waited all day to get in that room, and I was like one of the last ones in there.
Okay.
And yeah, I was, but I would have never done that on my own. It was the people, my mom and my stepdad, who really encouraged me to do that, and who were the ones who drove me to the audition, went with me. I just totaled my truck. I didn't have a car, so they took me.
Okay.
And all these things that were going on, and I would have never put myself up there, and there's a lot of other things that I probably wouldn't have done either. But I have a great manager who has made me do some stuff that I probably wouldn't have thought would have been a good idea, and then it worked out great.
Yeah.
So it's surrounding yourself with good people and then sticking at it. That's my advice to anybody.
And where can people find you on social media, things like that?
Chayce Beckham Music on Instagram. Everything else is Chayce Beckham and ChayceBeckham.com.
Awesome. All right, man.
Well, appreciate you, brother.
Great to have a good
Thank
chat.
you, man.
Okay, now we got to get off of this thing. Oh, Jesus.